Morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. So, I'm back for the promised video on making some DIY stamps because basically I have a few more things that I'm doing in our book, but I'm basically done. I just have these couple pages that I'm going to knock out. I think it's like this is it, this one and this one. And I may play around with some napkins I was thinking about, just mix it up along with some of the Gelli prints. But we're done. So let's make the DIY stamps. What'll be left is that, and then I'll go back through the book and we'll just add stamps and add some of the other extra ephemera stuff to some of the pages as we feel like it's needed. So I'll do a video on that, and then I'll do a video on the covers. And for the covers, I'm pretty certain now that I am going to use, I think it's right here in my drawer, this this Jabori silk that I made. I have a bigger piece here. I think I'm going to probably use some of this, or I just may make a larger piece of this. I haven't decided, but I am going to use the silk. I am going to pretty much wrap this cover with silk or a linen silk combination. So we'll do the covers, and then we'll be done with our book. It feels so good. Oh my goodness, I love the way this book feels. We'll leave that out because I gotta remember to work on that. But you know, once again, we can just see how beautifully balanced it is inside. It's not too big. It's not, you know, like splayed out too much. So we're just about done. Okay. So let's talk about how I make my DIY stamps. I kind of do them intuitively, like I do my intuitive scripting, my intuitive collaging. I just, you know, like over the course of me working, I have this little brass kind of footed tray here that I keep on my desk. And basically all of my little scraps just get put in here, like all the ones I think are interesting. And I have this other little brass bowl that I put on top, and I just put all the little pieces in here, so that when I'm ready to, you know, like it's right here off the side of my desk, so it's not in the way. It doesn't make a big mess. So all these little teeny scraps and stuff that I don't want to get rid of just go right down in here, and it pretty much keeps it so that it's manageable. And then the larger pieces that I have, I've got this sort of IKEA box. I love these boxes. I love the lids. And I just love that they're they're modular, so I can stack them all up, but they do hold a good amount. And then any of my bigger scraps, I love using this tea stain paper, which is just tissue paper that I stain with tea and coffee, basically. I use this, so we'll pull some of that out. So my larger pieces of stuff I put in here. My strips, I use these strips to make things with. So any kind of bits and pieces that I want to grab from, I have in a box like this. And that's kind of pretty much how I keep everything contained, so I'll know where all my bits are. But they're just not like all over the place. These napkins, I'll pull some of that out, because napkins are really good for this stamp thing as well. Okay, so we got enough to work with. So I keep things like that. So we'll be working from this here. And then, like a lot of times if I'm sitting around and I'm just kind of like cleaning up my desk, and I'll start making some of the backgrounds. So these are just a little bowl of backgrounds I've already made that just need to be stamped. So what I do, let me put this over here, is that I have these silicone stamps, and I have a lot of them, you know, over here that I use, and I will definitely I'll definitely link some of the stamps that I use below the videos so you guys can see them. Most of them I got off of Amazon or AliExpress. Okay, so this is where I keep my little bowl right here on my desk as well, so that anything that I'm doing can be put right over there. And then that way when I'm working on projects and I need a quick stamp, but maybe I don't have the colors that I want, because I keep all of my DIY stamps. So if I can move this without having half a dozen things go crashing down. Come on, let's be nice. Sorry for knocking that. So then you can see my DIY, my little DIY stamp box is empty. It's time to make some more. But then the ones that I make and stamp up and that are kind of, that are ready to use, I put in here. These aren't, that's a real stamp, but, and then a lot of times I'll make my little wax seal things too, and I put them in here. Just so I have stuff ready. So this is where I keep all the ones that I've done in here. So those are the that's the way I kind of keep these stamps organized. Alrighty, let's get started. So I like to work with strips of coffee and tea dyed paper. So everything that I'm sort of tearing off and what have you, I just kind of put these aside. So there's a few ways we can go about them. So let's start with the first way. So one of the first ways I'll do it is I'll just take a strip like this and I just will start looking for some bits and pieces. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to go ahead and glue this up. Let me just get a surface down so I don't have everything sticky. Stuff out so I have it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put, so one of the things I do is I'll just go ahead and put some glue down, just a bit, just to kind of get the surface started. And let's say I want some of this. So I'll go ahead and, it's going to be a little, I'll rip a little bit, but it's okay. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put some of these pieces down like this, right on top of, and it's okay if it hangs over the side a little bit. Just pull from things, it doesn't really matter. Bits and pieces are good. This is a bit of a napkin, Use both of these. This is a Giotto, so that's the hard sticking, and this is the one that's liquid. I'm loving these glue sticks. Finally got them, and I'm loving them. Really am. Okay, so this is some printed onion skin. And let's get some of this. Literally, we're just using just bits and pieces. Just kind of collaging it up. This really it really is mindless. You just want to Like, don't overthink it for sure. Just put stuff down. Just go in and grab in your little box of stuff. And these are just little strips that I of some of that, you know, Asian paper that's pre-printed on the handmade paper, and I just kind of rip those into strips just to get images. Okay, so that's a good one. This is a good place to stop right here. So I'm gonna put this one aside. We're gonna let it dry before we do anything, and we're just gonna go to the next one. So here's some of this. Literally, I just make these strips. I find that making the strips are easier. I used to go ahead and cut them into like the sizes. Then I realized that it didn't give me as much flexibility when I was ready to choose which stamps I wanted, and it was really more work to do it that way than just to kind of create these strips. And this way, your stamps already will match a lot of your, you know, the stuff that you've been working on in your pages and stuff, because you're using the very materials that were kind of like the throwaways for your work. And that's what I like about it also too. It's amazing how nice that is, how it really will just go well with what you already have going. Amazing how this gets so sticky, but it's okay. It's okay. Just kind of putting stuff down. Oops. It's a little sticky right there because I started to put stuff, so just put a little bit more paper over top of it. This is one of the ways. I have a few different ways I make stamps. And another video I'll show another way, but this is the main way that I make it. But I do have another process that's kind of goes down a different direction, but this is really the main way that I work with them and do these stamps, because I like this one. It's very organic. I use up a lot of pieces. And this is the kind of stuff I'm telling you. You can do this while mindlessly, while you're just, you know, you're listening to a podcast, or looking at a movie with the family or whatever. You can literally just make these strips because you really don't want to overthink it. So you just kind of put stuff down, and also working with different transparencies, so some of this is copier paper that's been stained. I have the tissue paper that's in at a different opacity. This is thin Japanese paper. And so when you lay it over, you see stuff underneath it. So make sure you work with different opacities. Now, this is a piece of silk, sort of sari fabric. And I'm going to put this down. And this will kind of mix it all up. Put this over here. It will stick. Just need to make sure that I have enough I have to let this dry, but I want this on here because it does make a difference. Okay, just use card. Put some right here. Okay, so see, that just makes a nice layer. So if you have any thin fabrics or anything like that, that's cool. Get a bit of my scripting here, even though I want to probably do some over it. But let's put this down there. Okay. Right. So this is how I do the strip. So you can just go. So like this one is done. That's nice. So you could just keep on making these, you know, just kind of keep on making as many strips till you kind of just run out of stuff to work with, or you know, you feel okay, that's enough now, or whatever. Oh, I do want to show this. So I put that one over to dry. This one right here is basically dry, so we can start working on that one. So let's go ahead and work on this one, and then I'm gonna come back and show you another way that I build up a strip while this one is drying. So we'll just kind of move back and forth. Okay, so this one will be drying there. Okay, the other thing I like to do is once I've got a whole strip going, because I like my intuitive scripting on them, I'll get my Sumi ink. And the links for all this stuff will be below the video, because you can get this stuff off of Amazon if you're like that, or try to find it at your craft stores. Like Joann's and Michael's, it's kind of hard. You can't find that stuff there. But like if you have like a local Blick or like a legitimate art supply store, you can normally find some Sumi ink. If not, just you could order it easy enough. Okay. And I'll also do the link for my brushes. These brushes are the best. I have been using this brush, literally I've had for 30 years, and I am not exaggerating. And it's Lebizon brushes. Keith was the original owner of the company. He has since passed on, but his cousin Tracy, who had been working along with him, who's also a accomplished in the field of computers and things like that, I think. But he's always loved making brushes, and so he took over and has continued to make brushes. And so I'll put the links for the Lebizon brushes. Now, this is the Russian Sable mini one, and this one is more expensive. This one's, I think, between 70 and 80 something, depending on what it is. Or this one may even be 100 and something. But they have different, I'll put some different links. But honestly, I use this brush all the time. I mean, look how beautiful the bristles and everything still look. And it just loads perfectly. Of course, it's not going to focus, but the brush itself is still just beautiful. So if you think about cost per use, well, I mean, this thing is almost cost zero at this point, as much as I use it. But he also has another one that I use a lot, and you guys have seen me use it. And this is the itty bitty synthetic one, and this is a synthetic, and this one is like 25, something like that. So I'll put the links for them. Both great brushes, you know, and he has all different sizes. But for what we're doing here, you can use either one of these brushes or both, because you'll get different lines with them. So I like to do my scripting along it, just to get some nice lines. And I'll let that dry. I'll go ahead and do this one too, because this one is dry enough to do it. It may bleed a little bit, but I even like the bleeding, so. So we can also go the long way like this. Excuse me for the sniffles. It's been planting and stuff, and I tell you, sometimes the sage gets to me out here in Arizona. Okay, so those right there are two strips that I'm gonna let dry. But I like putting the scripting on it. You don't have to put the scripting on. I do. I just like adding to it, but I don't always, like every strip, I don't always put scripting on too. Just so you know. I mean, I mix things up. So while that's drying, let's come back to this piece. And now I have some guys who've been hanging out with me. And if you go back and look at, I think I have it in my videos. I clean my jelly plate with double-sided tape, and then it makes these beautiful tape strips, which I love. You just look at that. So we can make stamps with that too. So let's go ahead and lay some more goodies down. So go ahead and put this like this. Like put the ragged edge on the end there. Let's get some more of this gold. I like this gold paper. This is just newsprint that I spray paint with gold. Just go to your local hardware store and pick out a gold that you like and spray paint it. It makes them the best. Really cool paper. Right there. So let's see where we are with this. So I'm gonna cut a bit of this. And this is literally double-sided tape, literally, that I picked up a lot of gunk off of my jelly plate. I know I've shown how to do this kind of stuff over Patreon. I mean, everything I do, all the secrets of the trade are definitely on Patreon. I have to tell you that. But I may have shown some of it over here, but it's kind of hard to say. I apologize because I really don't really remember. Let me just take this a little bit off. I don't need that extra. But the Patreon is just $10. I only have, well, I have 3 levels. I have $10 level, and there's 2 videos a week. Every week we do our journaling and our large journal and our jelly junker dory. So we have 2 styles of journaling we do every week. So for $10 you'll get the 8 videos a week. Plus it's over 300 something already up there from the last few years of me being on Patreon. So it's quite a bit of material. So I'm going to put this down. There's a lot of stuff over there. So you get over there, honestly, you're not going to be, if you like my style and you enjoy hanging out with me, you're not going to be disappointed. There's going to be so much stuff over there just for you to enjoy. And plus I also do monthly downloadable art. So I'll do jelly prints and different things that I've done for the month. Some things from my stamp collections, and a lot of the patrons will share from their own collections. So there's quite a lot of stuff, downloadables and all that stuff. And then there's a $25 level where we do a lot of books. See, look at this. I show a lot of bookmaking. So if you're into really wanting to know how to do books, I'm a master bookbinding. I taught it at the Corcoran. I taught it at the Smithsonian. So I really am, not to toot my own whistle, I really am good with book arts and book construction and all that. So we're going through that and learning a lot, and things that I like to play around in my studio and build, I share everyone. So it's kind of like what we call the $25 level. I call it like behind the scenes. So you're just getting me doing whatever I'm doing, and I just invite you along to do it with me. So we have that there. And then there's also $100 level, which is a patron level, and that you get everything else, but basically that level, those are for some of my followers who just really want to support me as an artist and support me being able to grow in the studio and all that kind of stuff. And that one, it helps me also for this book that I'm writing, because I've had to hire an editor to really help me with it, because I don't honestly have the time to really. So I've had to really hire somebody to help me, but it's my Art Mythos journey. It's going to be a fabulous book. You guys are going to love it. So at that level, I'm getting help with being able to pay my editor, and then of course you get thanked in the book and everything as having been a patron and blah blah blah. So it's real easy. Easy peasy. Okay, so just letting you know, because I get questions on that, and many of you are over there with me, so we have a lot of fun. It's a great community. Okay, so oh boy, I didn't get enough glue down there. I think I missed the whole section there. Okay. And I don't know, kind of things getting crazy over here on YouTube, because that thing that happened last week with the advertisement, oh my God, that was appalling. I could not believe it. And I've now been listening to other influencers on their channels. I heard Roxy and Rachel over Roxy Creation. She was apologizing the other day because she didn't know it happened to hers. I've heard a number of people apologizing, like, "Oh my God, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do. You're not making any money off of those darn ads anyhow." Like, it really makes creators look like we're just thirsty and we're just ruthless, and we don't even know that half the time these changes are coming, or they may send something out, or there's like a little thing in your creator studio. They're always putting something up, and it's these long drawn out videos. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I know I don't look at them half the time, and evidently other people don't either, because we all kind of got hit with trying to figure out how to get those darn videos off. I had to go and start manually taking them off my most recent ones, but I've since understood that there's a way to go in and change my settings. I've got to go in there and figure out how to do that, because there's nothing just easy around saying, "Oh, this is how you do it," So anyway, I say that who knows what's going to happen with YouTube, because the only reason why we even put okay, so I already said we don't make any money off it, but the only reason why people even put the videos on as it is, I'm going to take a little bit of this, is because if you don't monetize the videos, like if you don't say put ads on, well, first of all, YouTube will put it on anyway. They put them on anyway, because I've tried that. They put them on anyway, so they're still making the money off of it, because you said you didn't want to be monetized, then they don't even give you your little half a cent. But the other thing that's more important than that is that if they can't put ads and monetize, they're eliminating channels too. They're getting rid of people. They're just taking people off the platform, because they're saying you're not profitable and you're just taking up bandwidth, and they don't want to do that any longer. So if we don't put monetization on there, then you can run the risk of your whole channel going. So who knows, if you go a long period of time and don't want all these multiple ads like that, if at some point they're just going to say, "Well, you're still not profitable, so we got to let you go." I don't know how that's going to work. So I just let people know, look, I've got Patreon. We're having a lot of fun over there, and it's not expensive. And so there you have it. So look at that yummy strip of, look at that. Doesn't that look the best? So I put that on there as well. So this one I'm not going to, I won't, what am I trying to say? Do the sumi on that one. So you can see how your scraps go a long way on making stamps, because I've still got a whole pile here and I have 3 strips, which of course I could just I make tons of these when I'm sitting down. Like I said, we've been doing this for 30 minutes now, so I want to get through the whole process, but I would just keep on making strips. And then once the strips are done, I may stop there. And then the next session I'll come and make the, then I'll come and do any of this. But so let me put my stamps here so I can see which ones I want to use. And then I just take my palette, put them down so that I can start stamping. So let's say that, and some of the stamps are like these type of cancellation record type of stamps that I like to use. Some of them are the larger passbook kind of stamps. But let me figure out which ones I want to go for first. I might use these big ones. Like I'll do a row of these. Okay, so now I've got to pick my colors carefully because, I've got a lot of color and stuff going on here. So I don't want to use black. Maybe I'll use the midnight blue. That could be nice. And this gathered twigs could be nice too on top of this. Let's just see. Let's try the gathered twigs first. Sometimes I just have to put them down and see what I like. So basically, you can use a stamp block, but first of all, I've run out of my acrylic stamp blocks. And secondly, I like to move this around so much that I just put it down here on my palette. It sticks. So let's go ahead. So I take my ruler now, and you're normally using the width of my ruler. I just kind of figure out about the size I want it to be. So this is a good size here. And so then I just kind of start tearing them. So this is what that piece ends up being. So I lay it right down on top, and then I really just press into it. That way you kind of get more of an intaglio print, like one that is raised. It looks like it's kind of down in there versus putting the paper down and stamping this way. You kind of get more of a flat surface, where this one I can press everything down into the grooves and you get more of a printed look, if that makes sense. Okay, see? Oh, that's yummy. Oh, that's a good, I like that color. Okay, hold up. Come on. Oh, doesn't that look yummy? I love it. I love these stamps. And so let's do some more of that. That color is good. So this one is gathered twigs. This is Tim Holtz's Distress Oxide. And these really do work well for stamping. But because it's on this coffee stained paper, what have you, I think I'll make this one longer. So let's see. Which one do I want? Maybe I'll do this one. So that's why I have all my stamps laid out like this. And then it helps me to figure out how long I want my stamps to be. So this one is going to go there. And so this one is going to go right here. Come on. And that's why I do the strips, because then you can just kind of lay things out and just get your stamps as you go. And that way you get a variety, you get, you just have all your different stamps laid out. And then just sort of as you go, you can figure out what your colors are, what, you know, what you want things to look like versus just making them all the same size and all of that and then trying to, oh, this looks good. And then you see you got the gridding under there, like that green and white, the grid paper that I put down and the other black paper and then our scripting and this. So that is yummy. So let's go ahead and do this one. Put it over there right now. Let's go ahead and do, this is a Singapore passport thing. I think I got this off of Amazon. I know I'm pretty sure you get these off AliExpress, but I'm pretty sure this set I got off Amazon. I'm almost certain. So the links will be below. So this is a bigger stamp, and these are good for some of the pages that we do that we want more of a passport look. We don't want it to look so so much of a stamp. We want more of a things that look like, get stamped in your passbooks and stuff like that. Oh yes, nice. See, look at that. They just look old and yummy, and just add nicely to our collage elements, and have that bit of that shell from the napkin. See, all that stuff just comes together really nicely. So this one right here, it's kind of cool within itself, but so like this one right here, I could just leave like that, which I may, and not stamp anything over top of. Or what we can do, this is what I do, is we can do cancellation stamps. So I can take the cancellation stamp pad, and let's use, which color should we use? Be fun to use this green. This stays on in the cactus green. Let's just see. Never know. So I just kind of get a little bit of these, and then just kind of take and put it down. I'll just put it down. Let me see. This is the way I want it. Just kind of put it down off center a bit, and just pick up these circles. So it just has that cancellation look, Oh yes, look at that. That's yummy against that orange. See? So it looks like just like a little Asian stamp or something. We've canceled it. And then that can be put down, and we can add it to it. So I like those stamps too. So let's see, what do we have here? So let's use one of these on here. Okay, so here, this is always the game I play. This one I like in the midnight blue, because it looks like ink from like like an official kind of inked up government stamp or something like that. So do I want to do, I'm going to do it this way. Basically, this is what you do. You just have fun, have everything laid out, put your music on, have your beverage of choice, or listen to a podcast, or throw a movie on, and just enjoy yourself. Oh, I love it. See? And so, oh, come on, let's, okay, see that? Yum, right? And then what we can do is I'm gonna let that settle a little bit, but let me remember this, and then we can use ice spruce. Where's my ice spruce? Right here. I'm going to show you. We can cancel with that ice spruce over top of that, and it looks really good. So in the meantime, let's do, let me show you what some of these other stamps look like. So we've done that one. This one is yummy too. So I'm going to just go ahead, and I turn the papers different ways. So like this one is going to be good on here like that. We'll just take, so I'll make a few of these like that. So, you know, like once you decide, okay, I want a few different sizes of this one, and we'll do this one too, then you can go ahead and just rip it, rip it down. And yep. So this one is longer because it has that fabric there. So I'm going to skip over and keep this one long because I know I want to put that. Oh, so good. I want to maybe use, I don't know which one I want to use. I'll figure out which one I want to use there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. And so we're using gathered twigs. I'll put that over there. So let's do, Ganesh. Ganesh is a dark brown. I find I like the browns on, especially since I put the black down as the scripting. I find I like the dark browns against the coffee stained papers, and it's softer than the black, so I find that they work in a lot with my different palettes nicely. See that? Oh, that looks good. See, so that Ganesh is a dark brown. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. See, it's a dark brown, but it doesn't compete with the black, and I like that. So that's one of them. And then let me show you what this looks like. All of these are in the same set. So the ones I'm showing you right now, these three that have been stamps, they're all in the same stamp set when you get it. I'm loving these stamps. I'm gonna have fun putting these down in the book. And these mix nicely with regular vintage postage stamps as well. So that's why I like making these, because sometimes I'll do them and I only want these kind of stamps on them, because when I do more abstract, you know, I just like these. And then sometimes I do a combination, and then sometimes I only will use the vintage postage stamps. So it just gives you, so that's what these three look like. 1, 2, 3. So I've shown you what those stamps look like. Oh, let me show you what this one looks like. This kind of has like a, I think this is like more of a British one. Where's the lid? There it is. Also, the spiced chai is nice. This is a lighter brown. It's more of a red brown. And I'll have all the links for the stamps pads down as well. You can get all this on Amazon, or of course you can go into Joann's and Michael's for the Ranger, Tim Holtz stamps. But they don't always have all the selection, but you can start there and see what, you know, what your local one has and the colors, because that's immediate, you know. Yeah, so this is beautiful. Look at that. So that's more of a red brown. Okay. Alrighty, so those are all on the same thing together. Now let me show you here. This is the one we stamped with that, you know, sort of cancellation stamp or whatever. So using ice spruce, just come back and put that down. And then using this stamp, which I want like that, I just come back this. And so you can do cancellations over top of, you know, you can put stamps over top of stamps because you're telling a story with these little stamp collages. And so you just want different variations for yourself. And then, oh, look at that. Just yummy. So then you have that stamp over top of a stamp. That, come on, let's focus. Gosh, gosh, gosh. Seems like if you got to get closer and then, okay, there you go. See, so see that ice spruce over top of that midnight blue? And oh, that's just yummy. I love these. Oh, so this one right here that has the fabric on it, I'm going to do this with the ice spruce. That's going to really look good because this is just a beautiful neutral palette. It's not too much going on. So this will look beautiful in the ice spruce. So we're just going to go ahead and lay this completely down on top of. So you'll play around with your colors. Just get some of these. Before I end the video, I'll go over all the colors that I'm using. And I love all of these. But I'll show you which, so you'll have an idea of, if you can't find one, you'll find the other, you know, kind of thing. Oh, yes, I figured it would look like this. Oh, my God, that's good. The ice spruce is just fabulous color. And in the distress, the way they lay on top of the surface, see the way it lays on the surface and over top of that fabric, that's just brilliant. Oh, I love it. So that's that. I just off stamp on top of, like this right here would be just a piece of botanical that I didn't use in one of my collages. So you can even take the stamp and do it like this. Stamp like how I stamped over top of that. Like that. And then we can cut that out. And that can just very easily become a stamp too. So you don't always have to collage. Like for instance, we'll just take this, do like that, get on the other side here, grab it, and then we'll take the bottom off. So even little scraps of pieces of paper like this that has like a little interesting detail, but of its own, it's just like, you know, it's just like a little detail. What do you do with it? But if you stamp it up, square it off, you know, you have this like little botanical stamp. See how cute that is? Just like a little botanical ready to go to add into your collages. And so, yeah, and I just saw that laying there. But if I'm working, I would totally do that. I just keep on stamping this up. So if you have bits and pieces of things like that that you like, and they're, you know, like just stamp them. And then they're fabulous. Okay, before I finish up, let me see. I'm looking good on time. Almost an hour showing you guys how to make stamps, but you wanted me to show you, so I'm happy to. Let's just do one more. This one will be perfect on there. Let's do it in the claret, the red, just so you can see what that looks like. Because I love this red too. I think I might be getting a little low on my red, so I gotta kind of really get it on there. So that, okay. But the secret is to do these things upside down. It will make a difference. You can even play with doing it the other way. You'll see the difference immediately. It doesn't like seep down into it and like you just get a better print. It's almost like you can see it going down into the paper versus the reverse. So yeah, just have at it. Lay it out on something like a palette thing or something like this. Piece of plexiglass, anything, whatever you have. You can even take your jelly plate and put it down and put the these down on top of it and use it as a surface. Oh yes, that's beautiful. Yeah. See this claret red is just gorgeous too. And that worked well with the colors of that stamp. So come on. Sorry about this camera there. Oh, see, that's just yum. And with that scripting over top of it, see, everything's a layer. You guys know my big thing when it comes to my art is layer, 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 layers. Layers is what makes art interesting. It's what makes it draws it to your eye. I mean, so many times people just do like one level or something, or two levels maybe. But in this case, you know, we have several layers going on. We had our original coffee stained paper, and then we did levels of collaging over top of it. That's our second layer, and those were diverse layers, because collaging, that gives a lot of interest because things are overlapping, so you don't just have one layer of paper. This is overlapping a paper that was down there, so that's anywhere from 2 to 3 layers. Then you come back and do the scripting over it. That's a 4th layer. And then we come and we stamp on top of it. That's a 5th layer. And if you double stamp, that's a 6th layer. So that's where you get this really incredible, rich looks to your work when you really just allow yourself to layer up. And that's what really gives the history, and it gives just the beauty to the pieces. Okay, so let me just show you one more way that I finish these stamps off to give it. And I've done I've played with a lot of different ideas. And I think this is the one I like the best. I've even played with a pattern marker. Do I see it here? I've had some effects with that, but that works with this other style stamp I have a tendency to do. I don't see it right now. It should be in here. But I'm going to tell you, there's 2 ways to grunge these stamps up. One of them is just to take some scissors, just take some sharp scissors, and then just kind of go along the edge like this. And on this on this coffee stained paper, it's kind of already brittly. And so you can just kind of rough the edge up like this and really kind of give it a torn look, and then flattening that back out. So you kind of get this kind of edge. So you can kind of do this where you just grunge it up, and then when it glues back down, it just has that old, like, can have some pieces ripped off, just gives it that old, been around the block a few times kind of look. So you can do your edges like that, and I do them different ways depending on what I want from the stamp or how I'm collaging it. So sometimes I don't even do this grunging up the edges until I'm getting ready to use the stamp, and depending on what the collage looks like, I may want this kind of look to it, or I may want this kind of look. So I take my pinking shears, and what you have to do is you just kind of go half on, half off of that straight edge. You don't want to get like a full pinking shear thing on it. Then you just line it back up, and you just go in between each one of those little shears that you just made, and you get that edge, which I like better. So, you don't want it to look. So right here, where I have my little piece of paper hanging off, I don't want that to get a pinking shear on it. So I'm going to lift it up a little bit like that. And then I'm just going to cut this the same way. You just really want to get halfway on and halfway off the edge of the thing, because you just want it to be a little bit. And then you just kind of go back in and the same thing. And that's how you get that little stamp edge. I have tried everything, and I finally, I finally decided I like that concept. So then I let that go back down. Now this we can just kind of grunge up with the regular scissors, just to kind of make it so it's not so, straight edged or whatever. So just kind of use this and grunge it up a little bit. have my Tim Holtz Distresser in here. I don't always show it because everybody doesn't have one. So I like to show you ways of doing it without that. But if you have that little distresser, which should be up here somewhere, little white one, the rounded Tim Holtz Distresser, you can use that as well. So once again, you just kind of want to only graze that edge. We're literally just grazing it. Like that. You're only getting a little bit of, come on. So you're just getting that. And then you come back over that and just match the little points in between so that you're knocking those even off down further. And then that's how you get that little stamp look. So that's my little solution to getting the stamp look. I know people have done different things, but to me, that edge looks like to me the closest to like what a stamp could be, you know. And even it still has those peaks on it, but you can even knock those peaks off. I'll just use this. Where is my little Tim Holtz thingy? I don't know where. But even if you want some of those peaks knocked off, you can just take a knife or something like this and just even shave those down some. You know, you just kind of flatten it a little bit so that those peaks kind of go away. So they're not so, you know, perfect. Like that. And there you have it. So that's how you do your DIY stamp. So we've got a lot of, and so this one too, okay, like this is a perfect example of just go ahead around all the sides. I'll do it all the way through so you can see because it's really quick. Just grab a place all the way around. So this will really get that stamp look because, you know, there's nothing going on there that really make it look like a stamp. So then you just come back around and just hit all those little peaks. It just makes it finer. Oh, this looks good. This is fun. See, this is just a little piece you could have thrown away in here, you know. Okay, so now that really gives it a stamp look. Yeah, see? But yet it's your, you know, it was a little piece of paper you could have thrown away. Just using a little stamp on top of it. And I could even take like this one that's marked registered and then do this in red and overstamp some more. So we can take that and put it right here. And then before I sign off, I'll make sure I go over these colors with you. Yep. See? Oh, that's really sweet. So then just taking that little register stamp, and that little register stamp comes with these other stamps that I'm leaving links for. So see, you're just building up. Now we have a cool stamp there. Okay. So that's the basics of making, you know, your DIY stamps. And we just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we have a strip that we could just knock this out and make. So, you know, you can, if you do the assembly line, like make all of your pieces of paper and then, you know, sit down and then just get all your stamp colors out, all your stamps, and just stamp them up. You can get several dozen made just in a couple hours of time it takes to look at a movie or something like that. You could have a nice chunk of them done. And it's like you're still doing something else. So you're not like having to sit down and take 2 or 3 hours to make the stamps. I mean, like you might not mind that either, but I'm always trying to double task. So I'm going to be doing this while I'm doing something else. Okay, so with the stays on, this is the Tasuka, I forget how to say this word, Tasneko, I don't know. I'll put up here so you guys can see it. I don't know how to say it. But there. Okay, so this is still stays on. I love these. So the ice black, the claret, the sweet, the spice chai, the Ganesh, and the cloudy sky. I have other ones because you saw me using the green, which is cactus green, the midnight blue. But if I had to say the ones I use a lot, this is the lighter red brown. Ganesh is the darker brown. You can't go wrong with black. The claret is nice. You saw how we use that as an accent on this stamp here, and we also use it to stamp in this entire stamp. And then this cloudy sky is really pretty because it's like a typewriter blue. I like this one a lot. So in terms of the stays on, those are the 5 I would recommend. Any other ones you could get, you know. In terms of the distressed, I like the ice spruce, which was this one, and this one. It's just a really nice bluey kind of gray or something. It's very nostalgic. Of course, you know I love pumice stone. Pumice is great. Frayed burlap and gathered twig. I have vintage photo, walnut stain. Those are all fine. This forest moss makes a nice color too, in a green. And you could also do black soot. The black soot is nice because it's a black, so it's a different black than the stays on black. The stays on black here is going to be black, like, you know, your straight jet black. Where the black soot is sort of like a deep sort of gray, like a charcoal black or something. So you could use these two together and they would look like 2 different blacks if you want to overstamp. So the walnut stain, vintage, all those are kind of standard. But if you're looking for something different, the frayed burlap, the gathered twigs are 2 favorite browns. And then the pumice stone and the ice spruce. If you can find those, you won't be disappointed. But any combination of that will work. Let me just go ahead and show you what this I'm ending for sure, trust me. But I want to show you what that forest moss looks like. It is just yummy. So we'll go ahead and rip that. And let's use this one. So, forest moss really makes a neat green. So, you know how kind of greens can be a little bit too greeny, but this is kind of like a nice sort of brown green or something. So when you want a green in your work, but you still want it to be, you know, organic and earthy, this is a good one. Forest moss. Oh, this is just divine. Look at that. See? Come on, let's get it. See that? It's just a really yummy, greeny, browny color. I love it. So, and I use that one a lot too. I like that one. And so now remember, any of these, when they dry, you can come back with this stamp and we can overstamp any of these to get that an overstamp look. So like for instance, with this one, I'll use pumice so you guys can see what pumice looks like. I like using some of these lighter ones to overstamp. I mean, of course you could do black, but I like using some of these lighter ones to overstamp, you know. Just gives it a different look. Yeah, see, it's just so beautiful and subtle. That's the pumice. So you see this really beautiful kind of faded cancellation. So it's not overpowering, but it's another level of information, you know, that really makes the stamp up and makes you stop and look at it and say, what is that? That is really neat. Where did that stamp come from? You know, kind of thing. So, and where it dries, see, even as it's drying, as we're looking at it, it gets chalkier or something. This pumice, it'll get chalkier and you'll see it even better. So, okay, there we have it. I'm gonna let you go because I know you're ready to like, let me just get out so I can go and make some stamps, Robin. So there we have it. Wow, that's been an hour. But yeah, I really wanted, you guys were asking me about how to make the DIY stamps. I get that request a lot. So I think this is a good time now to look at this, because as we start going back through our book here and deciding, like, because I have some empty spots I need to put things, like say like on a page like this, you know, something like this could be a combination of this with maybe a stamp like this could really be nice. I can go back in now and start filling my pages up. Oh, you can't see the whole thing, but filling my pages up with stamps now. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to come back through, and so I'm going to be making some more of these myself in my downtime, and then we're going to come back through and start putting extras in our books and finish stuff up. See, that'll look nice there too. Finish things up, and so there you have it. So this is a good time to have gotten the DIY stamps out. All right, take care. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me again this Saturday. If you like the video, please remember to thumb it up. If it's your first time here, welcome, and thank you for hanging out to the end. And please subscribe, and we'll just keep moving through our projects. All right, guys, take care. Love you, and have lots of fun. Bye-bye.